And welcome to another edition of Running with James. I'm your host, James Wyatt, and I'm happy to be here with you. It's an honor and a privilege each week to share my heart, my thoughts, my passions with each and every one of you out there. Jesus help me.
You sound so excited.
This freaking chick, dude.
I'm so sorry.
Dude, is it like you're, I feel like now you're just purposely trying to see if you can get under my skin every time you
I
see
don't
me.
have to try. Apparently me existing in a room does it now.
This chick has been over here messing with her hair for the past 30 minutes.
Okay, we haven't been in this room for 30 minutes, but 10 I will give you.
Obviously, I'm exaggerating, Lauren.
I look, we have this TV now, which is kind of problematic for me because I can see how silly my hair looks and it's bothering me.
You know, you've messed with your hair a lot, and
I
you know
do.
it looks no different than when I first walked in the room. Like, it doesn't look better or worse or anything. You
I
just
think
have
it looks-
moved, and you have bangs now. I think before it wasn't.
Yeah, I know. I fixed my bangs.
So I don't understand.
But they're too long.
Why does it matter? So you go from, like, normal person to, like, psychopath like that just because I don't understand what's
Because
going on.
I see the recording and I'm like, oh gosh, this is
Well,
going to be
don't
on
look
the
at the
internet.
TV.
It's going to be on the internet.
You should be looking at us. You should be talking to us, not to the TV.
Yeah, but the world's going to see how weird my hair looks.
Nobody cares, dude. And do you think her hair looks weird?
Every day, but it's all right.
Thanks.
Oh, God.
No, I'm just kidding.
This dude.
I'm
And
sorry
welcome
we
back,
couldn't all
guys,
have hair like
to
you,
another
Rocky.
episode.
You just told me not to say welcome back, and you come in here with
Oh,
welcome back.
yeah, dang it.
What is up?
Broke your own rule.
Breaking
my own
breaking
rule.
rule. They told me before we even started, like, James, you ever feel like you're the only one on this thing? I'm like, no, of course not. I feel like I have two very knowledgeable, like, impactful people that bring their A game every week.
I don't remember hearing any of that last part when
I
you
said it in my heart.
Okay, in silence.
But he said it
It was
to the
between
people,
the
so-
lines.
Because rule number 5 is always be honest. And I couldn't say it with a straight face. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so this is really what I wanted to open this thing up with, okay? Until Lauren felt it necessary to fling her hair all over the place like it's a freaking Pantene commercial.
man.
Have you guys seen this new shoe that Adidas just came out with? They just, like announced it today.
No, then I definitely haven't seen it because you see all the shoe.
Holy
anythings.
crud. It's a new marathon racing shoe. It's called like the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro Evo 1.
Oh.
Right?
That's a
This
lot of
shoe
names.
weighs 4.8 ounces with 39 millimeters of stack height. So we talked about shoes
39?
last
I
week.
was say, wouldn't you say
So
the
like that's
limit
the same
is?
stack height as the Adios Pro 3, right? So it's max cushion, right?
But lighter.
4.8 ounces.
And you said the Nike last week was like 6 or something like that?
Like the Nike, my Nike's like 7.5 ounces.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, now that's a men's size 9 supposedly, but that is light. So apparently they come out this new shoe. It's supposed to be the shoe of shoes, right? They're only releasing 500 of them. September 14th is when it launched.
They're going to get sold out
4
immediately.
a.m. in the morning, right? Because they're expecting, obviously, and they said maybe in November they're going to
Is it-
release some
this
more.
is it?
Yeah, that's it.
Thing had a lot
Guess
of
how much it
thickness.
costs?
Oh, hang on. Ooh, hang on.
$350.
No, I'm going to say 425.
Final answer, 425?
425.
$350. Yeah.
350? $500.
Oh, my.
I was going to say 475. I should have stuck with my guns.
$500.
So you will not be buying one because that's not in budget.
No, I will not be buying
That
one.
is
And
not
even
enough.
if I was going to be willing to spend $500 on a shoe, do you know the odds of you being able to get that shoe? Because it's
How-
going to go live at like 4 a.m. and like it's going to be sold out before 4 a.m. 0.02 seconds.
How many did you say they're releasing?
Like 520
Do you think we'll see any at the Chevron that are not on Elites?
No, not unless it's on some pro that's sponsored by Adidas or whatever. So even like
When are
the
they
big
coming out?
name like influencers and stuff, they're not probably going to get them until like maybe the next run or something. So
When are they coming out?
they dropped today.
Oh, they already came out.
They dropped today, yeah.
Oh.
4 a.m. is when you could get them. So they're already sold out, right? But they're going to do another offering in November. Now, here's the biggest part. So 3 huge things, right? So it's supposed to have some of the same makeups and stuff with the shoe. Three huge things. 4.8 ounces is nuts. Like that's
That's a super light shoe.
that's nothing.
That's-
right.
yeah.
That's like almost half the weight the Pro 3 is, right? $500 is ridiculous.
That's so expensive.
right. In my opinion, I'm like, okay, if it weighs less, if you're using because they're using less materials, it should cost less to make the shoe.
You would think.
So it shouldn't cost that much money,
Is
right?
it just the marketing and the hype?
I don't know. But then in the box, when you get the box, it has a note that says this shoe is meant for the marathon, and basically you're going to get one wear out of it. like where to like adapt, like a couple, like basically a few runs to get ready for the race, and then a marathon.
Wait, so
So
is
you're
it
paying $500 for like 4 runs.
Something like that. Yeah.
is the idea that it won't? Is that are you saying that because it won't last?
I
or-
guess because like it's so light and like they
can't hold up?
minimalized it so much, it's probably not going to last that long.
So my question is, who is out there spending $500
I can guarantee
on this shoe?
I can guarantee
There's
the
people.
520 whatever they're going to all get sold.
Yeah.
And they
Oh,
said they're all
good.
numbered
All
and
of
stuff.
you?
So collectors are probably going to buy
Yeah.
them too, right? But then I guarantee
They're
people
worth
who
more
run
now.
Huh?
They're worth more now than when they just came out.
Yeah, already.
All of you people better be getting BQs. Just
Yeah.
saying.
So that's just nuts to me, man.
If you don't BQ in those shoes, then
I mean,
you
I
don't
want a pair.
deserve it.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I
you
want a
do.
pair.
I want a pair. And they're
don't
cool
want a pair.
too. Like I'm not a huge like just all white, but they're all white with like the 3 black Adidas stripes.
Yeah, I
they,
saw.
they look fast, man. They look legit.
I don't
Supply and
have.
demand. Low supply, high demand.
I don't have any interest in having a shoe that expensive unless it's got a red bottom. That's it.
That's even less.
Because I can wear those out and look real nice.
Yeah, but you could take a pair of regular heels and paint the freaking bottoms of them red, and nobody would know the difference.
Yeah, but I know they're not going to fall apart on my feet after 4 uses.
I'm just telling you. But that's crazy. I thought that was like the new running news of the day. In my opinion, that's nuts. That's like up there with like 11,000 people
I was
cheating
just
on a
gonna
marathon.
say. That's right up there with that headliner.
I saw a post today about it, and I saw I was like, oh, dude, that's a sweet looking shoe. I was like, oh, Evo 1. Oh, that must be their new like offering they're coming out with. And then they did like a whole big special thing for influencers today, and they went through the whole like spiel like the Adidas people did, and they had the breakdown of all the pieces of it, and it's so light and thin, and they were talking about 50 grams here, 50 grams there, 100 grams here they're losing, right? And then when they dropped them, then they were like, it's 4.84 ounces or whatever. I was like,
I would want to try it on just because I want to know what a shoe that light feels like.
I know.
But I don't want to run in it because you only get so many.
yeah. So I thought that was just crazy, and I guarantee, and they're already sold out. I checked.
Did
Yeah,
you?
they're already gone. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to buy one, but I just checked just to see. Yeah, they're sold out. But they did say they were going to have another offering in, I think, November or something.
Do you think the price will ever go down, or do you think it's always going to be that?
Well, I mean, it's like new technology, right? So, I mean, I guess it just depends on if people buy or not. They have another shoe called the Prime X,
Okay.
which has like 44 millimeters or stack height or something like that. So it's not even officially legal to wear, right? I mean, you could wear it, right? I mean, they're not going to chest our shoes, right?
Yeah.
Because we're not elites, but it's like $300 for that shoe, right? So I don't know, man. These people are. If people will pay it, they're going to charge it,
I just don't got that kind of shoe money.
right? I just don't. I don't know.
Apparently
don't know.
I got
just
that
feel
kinda
like
lunch
if there's
money,
less
though.
going into the shoe, it should cost me less, right? I want to know the breakdown of the cost of that shoe. Now maybe it's the research and development they're paying for or something. I don't know. So that's just. I don't know. I thought that was a crazy story.
I need Adidas to send me a pair.
Yeah.
'Cause I've been going hard lately.
Yeah.
You've been going so hard. How's it been going?
Bruh.
I've been seeing you and kind of like show up more. You've been consistent.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I'm gonna take a few days off.
Why? Why?
Well, I mean, Sunday I went too hard. Well, I didn't go too hard, but I went hard.
The day you beat me, you mean?
It was hashtag. It's an asterisk beside that, but I'll take the W. Thank
Yeah.
you for that.
I mean, I feel fine,
Yeah, I mean, I feel fine.
but I got
after that.
beat. So I mean,
Yeah.
obviously.
But today's
You weren't
workout.
pushing yourselves hard.
No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying I got beat. So
I mean, yeah, but this morning's workout. Oh my goodness.
this,
Oh,
you
'cause
come
you
at
went to
5
the
a.m. this
5
Yeah, I
morning?
came at 5 a.m. and I
Nice.
was.
Good for you, man.
You know, we got some big dogs here at BC Fitness. We got some guys who were just. We had like 3 guys who were just.
Was Trent there this morning?
I won't gonna say no names, but there's people there.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You
She always
wanna,
likes putting people's business out
you
there.
wanna.
I didn't
you
say
wanna
last
meet,
name.
You wanna get there. You wanna be at that level. Like these are good guys that have like
Yeah.
to work towards.
Sure.
And that dude's a beast.
Yeah.
The dude is a beast. So like, you know the workout we had today, the run a lap. I don't want to give our workouts out here for free, but it's
Right.
a tough
It's a
workout.
tough workout,
And you
yeah.
get 10 minutes to get it done.
Did you get it done?
I got it done. He did his in 7:32. I did mine in
Nice.
7:40.
Nice. Very nice.
Good job, man.
But he looked so like I could do it again. He looked like he could do it again. Me,
Yeah.
I was done.
Yeah.
I was done.
Well, he probably runs a lot more than you. He did my tempo run with me on Tuesday.
How'd that go?
He showed up. It was fun. It was much better this week than it was for me last week.
Then he like stunned me though. He like afterwards he was like, "Man, you doing really good for someone who just started working out 3 weeks ago."
Did he say that?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's
I was
really
like,
funny.
well, he didn't mean it in a bad way. But in
No,
my head,
know.
I was like,
well, he hasn't seen you, so he's just
Yeah.
assuming you just started.
yeah. I was like, I need that.
Just came out of the woodwork.
Yeah. But it's also like,
So like you said, you've been like like, is your body tired or is your mind tired? You said he's just been going so hard.
No, my mind is great right now. My mind is like, I want to keep going, but I need to be a little smart because sometimes my mind can get me in trouble if my body can't keep up.
Do you feel like you're heading towards an injury? Or?
Oh, no, I'm not heading towards injury. I just don't want to prevent. We got to have recovery days. You
Sure.
got to have, what are you on recovery week right now, James?
Yeah, but I mean that doesn't mean I'm not training at all.
I'm not, it's not, I'm not training.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do light.
Yeah. So this is my 4th week. So every 4th week I have a recovery week, which just means my volume goes down, the intensity levels are lower, right? So like the workout we did last night, I did the same workout, I just used lighter weight, right? So tonight's workout will be same intensity. I'll just probably lower the weight a little bit on like some of the movements. So and then instead of running, I think I was at 45 or so, 43, 45 last week. I'll do like 39 or 40 this week, right? And then next week I'll start a new training block.
Yeah, one thing I'm just liking on is some sleep, getting sleep.
Yeah.
Because I like to do stuff
Sure.
at night for some reason. I don't know
No,
why.
sleep's like very important for recovery.
Yeah, and I've been doing that because I'll go to bed at 1, wake up for the 4th, wake up at 4:30 to get to
that's-
class at 5.
That won't last. Yeah.
It is, it sucks. So I need to take a little
Yeah,
break.
so that's probably more important than like taking a day off, right? Because active recovery, movement is actually better for recovering than just like static recovery, right? But if you're not sleeping, you need to sleep, right? Because then, your body's just beat up because it hasn't like recharged, it hasn't replenished itself, right? So
Yeah. Y'all been watching college football lately?
no,
No.
I haven't watched football in so long, man, so long.
I don't watch college football, but I do now. Shout
Yeah.
out to Primetime. I'm one of the bandwagon
gosh.
fans of
Dion?
Colorado. Yeah.
I feel like I'm always hearing people say that college football is more popular than like pro NFL. Is that true? I feel like I've heard people say
it's
I
that.
mean, I
big.
think maybe niche
Yeah.
level, like for like certain people, maybe
It has
yeah.
a huge following.
It does, but it's like
yeah.
it's like what college you went to or what college you grew up
exactly.
loving.
You identify with
you
that. You
ident-
actually
yeah.
have skin in the game on that one.
So it's it's different than like NFL, but I mean everybody. I mean, if you like college football, like probably 90% of those people love NFL, right? Because their people end up going to the NFL or something, right? So
But yeah, he's what I like about him. He's bringing something different to college football. He went into where he's at to the new school and just changed it completely. Now they're winning. And then what he also did was he took there's always captains on defense or offense. There's labeled captains. There's the defensive captain, the offensive captain. There's 4 captains, 2 defense, 2 offense. He just took that away.
yeah.
And he calls them dogs.
My
That make
gosh.
you
That's-
happy?
That's why you like the story.
Yeah.
It's because there's dogs involved.
He calls them dogs.
That makes you happy.
It makes me very happy.
Do you feel like you have?
You want him to call you a dog. I know it.
You feel spiritually connected to that?
Oh, yeah, I'm a dog.
So,
The dog is the mentality.
so dog's a mentality.
Oh,
so
yeah.
can anybody? I asked you this before. Can anybody be a dog?
You got to.
And it's just to clarify, it's not DOG. It's DAWG.
Oh, I'm a dog. I'm DOG.
So what's the difference between DOG and DAWG? We're gonna get into a
I
whole
don't know any
thing.
difference about that, but I just know I'm a dog. It's the mentality that I have. It's like,
And this is why y'all don't talk.
this is exactly why we don't talk.
I want to break down because I thought it was DAWG. What's that?
I don't know what the heck that is, Lauren.
That
I've
doesn't even
seen
spell a word.
that.
That's
I think
not
it's
even
how
a
you
word.
just spell it.
I've seen that.
I've seen it too.
You
I
may
know
have
what you're talking
seen
about,
it, but
but
it
I don't
doesn't
know the
mean
difference. I just
it's
know
a
what
real
I
word.
identify
Okay,
as.
so when people say like that they're a dog, it is DOG.
I mean, I don't know what they say. I know what I say.
Well, I'm asking you.
Yeah, that's what I
in a general
identify.
tense.
I'm
Okay.
rock dog, DOG.
So like a furry animal with 4 legs and a tail, and ears and teeth.
you
so
know, I've never thought
Is it
about
like a
that.
street dog? Like you got like the gumption of a street dog? Like you got that?
I think the way she's talking right now, she's like basically kind of belittling your dog.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
That's the way she's
I'm
saying
not,
it. She's seeing it very facetiously.
I'm not trying to ask it facetiously. I'm asking
Yeah.
like what goes into like making like I don't know, like what's the mentality and like the whole thing behind it? That's what I'm asking. Because you always want us to call you that. You always like try to like
So like my mentality, like what I was told today, you've been working out for 3 weeks, doing a good job for someone who's been working out for 3 weeks. I've been working out for like 3.5, 4 weeks. Pretty,
Oh
consistently.
yeah, he's not giving you that extra half. So it's like
Yeah.
you're not a 6-year-old, you're a
but-
6.5-year-old.
No,
so
I'm
I'm
just
not being
saying
facetious.
the
It sounds like
dog
I'm not the one
mentality.
being demeaning. The other guy is.
But I mean, like no, he wasn't demeaning at all.
I'm
It's the
joking.
truth. It's more like okay, but I was 8 seconds behind him,
Yeah.
and he's a beast.
So what you're saying is it only took you 3.5 weeks to get where he's at.
Oh, I'm not nowhere where he's at.
Like,
He-
you're only
I said,
8
he can
seconds
keep
behind
going.
him. Yeah.
But my mentality is like, I'm coming for you. Like
I get it.
Hey, I'm giving you your props. I don't believe in nobody. Like you, I'm coming for you.
Sure.
That's my dog mentality. It's like I don't want
Come
to
get
be.
some.
It's not about like trying to
I
be
got
better than anybody.
plenty
It's
to
just
give.
like, oh, you're going hard. I'm gonna go hard as well.
Sure, I
like
get it.
I'm gonna get this. And It's a mentality thing because how many times we just defeated ourselves. I mean, the reason why I'm more consistent now is the habanero. I mean, that was a slap in the face.
Sure.
Like, the worst feeling in the world is to be the worst person on the team.
You did seem like you hated
feel
life.
like you let the team down. Like, I let the team down. Like, I qualified for our team, did our race, and then I was like, oh, I did that, and I'm good. And I, like, failed miserably.
I wouldn't say failed.
I don't know if you failed miserably. I mean, I feel like your time was still really good.
He's saying based off of what he was probably capable of doing.
Exactly.
As opposed to what he actually did.
Exactly.
Sure.
And then, like, if you don't, I mean, I'm a dog. I want to win. I mean, I was on a team full of dogs who want to win.
Yeah.
And I let us down.
I'm not a dog.
You're not, but you're a winner.
I'm not a dog. I'm a lion. You feel what I'm saying? I'm a tiger.
King of the jungle.
You know what I'm saying? I'm king of the jungle. I'm up here in the jungle, slashing, crashing.
Are we like getting animal
tigers,
identifications
you know what I'm saying?
now?
Eye of the tiger, baby. Eye of the tiger. That's what I am.
So you're a tiger or a lion?
Don't be belittling me and bringing me down here to the level of a dog.
I
you know
appreciate
what I'm saying?
that.
I eat dogs for lunch.
Well, this dog got you on Sunday, James.
He did. But you're going to start having to train. Like for the next few months, because I'm honestly, I like to like sometimes.
He's like, I'm not letting it happen again.
So here's one of the things, like people kind of give me a hard time sometime about it or whatever, because like my daughter, right? I saw a really funny quote the other day. It was like a meme or something, and it was like, I don't train to be healthy. I don't train to be in good shape. I train to dominate my child.
I've seen that.
And to not let them ever win, right? They're going to be 25 years old, and they're going to know that their dad can take them, right? That's why I do the way so I can, basically, I have established dominance, and my goal is to remain dominant as long as I possibly can. And so from time to time, when I do things with my daughter, I will, I never, obviously, I'm not going in there and going all out, right? I go just hard enough to make it challenging for her, right? But then I don't let her win, right? She's going to have to earn that win. And sometimes I mismeasure and she gets better and she ends up like winning a little something, right? And so I give her a high five because she earned it. I didn't give it to her. She earned it. But I didn't give my, you know what I'm saying? I'm not giving my full effort, right?
Yeah.
So, but then I establish, okay, this is now her ability. So now.
New level.
Her level, she's leveled up. Well, now I can't go as easy on her, right? So in the same aspect, on Sunday, right, I learned, well, I can't go as easy on you now. I'm going to have to go ahead and give you less of a head start next time, right? Or not a head start at all, right? Let you run with me and then just keep breaking your will and breaking your will until one day
you realize,
you overcome and you blossom into a beautiful, beautiful butterfly dog.
Iron sharp as iron.
Dog.
Yeah.
Iron sharp as iron.
Yeah.
That's a good philosophy. I want to do that too much. My dad, remember, used to pack my stuff up, block me in basketball. Oh my goodness, big body me, disrespectful. Now that I think about it, but I would do the same.
Yeah, I mean, I remember my older brother, like he was a big dude, man. He was like 6'4". He actually played for the Oilers.
Oh dang.
Yeah, so he played like college football. He played professional football for like half a season or something like that. He was like 6'4", 275, big old dude. And I remember when I was way younger than him. I was probably almost 10 years younger than him. But I remember when he was in college, so he was like maybe, 23 or 24 or something like that. So I was like 14 years old, and we were playing basketball, and man, he was just owning me. And I mean, part of it was just because he was like huge, right? I was 14 years old, little bitty, like 112 pounds, 120 pounds, right? He's just throwing me all over the court, throwing my stuff all over the place, right? Couldn't get a shot up. I couldn't drive, nothing, right? And so, like, I remember a few years back or what have you, we were playing basketball. It was probably 20 years, actually. I say a few years. But we were playing basketball. We used to play basketball every Tuesday night at this gym. And it was an indoor gym. And lo and behold, my brother, like, walks out of nowhere. I was like, where did this dude come from? And I hadn't seen him in a little while or what have you. And I was like, what's up, bro? And da-da-da-da. So he comes in, and we start playing. And, man, I was just, like, schooling him, like, crossing him over, like shooting in his eye, like just laying up, just everything, like 3-pointers in his face. And like, he was like, who is this kid? What the? Because I hadn't played basketball with him since I was like, a little teenager or whatever. And man, that was one of the proudest moments of my life. I was like, my big brother, I just crossed him up. I just got him. Just got him. That was a boost of confidence. I wish that had happened in high school. I might have made it to the pros. I don't know.
I don't think I've ever had a moment like that.
Were you?
I don't think so. Especially not with siblings.
I don't know. Maybe that's where one of your confidence issues is.
That might be explains so much of this.
Maybe you've just never had a big win. I mean, have you never had a big win before? Like, give me a big win. First big win comes to mind. I can think of like 10 right now off the top of my head. Big win, go.
Second place at, I podiumed at High Rocks last year.
Are you sure? Because that sounded like you were like you're unsure.
Podiumed at High Rocks last year. Podiumed at High Rocks last year.
Okay.
There we go.
I mean, I remember that when you podiumed. You were like doing backflips and jumping up and down, screaming and hollering.
I was very excited.
You were so happy.
I was so excited.
So that's a big win if you were that happy about it. But you don't seem very confident in it right now. Why is that?
I don't know. I guess because to me, like, the big win would have been like if I qualified for championships.
Yeah.
Like, to me, the big win would for me, it's like always like I could have done more.
That's a different way to look at things, I guess. I could have always done more. So instead of focusing on the win, you focus on what you didn't do well.
Maybe.
That's healthy, unhealthy.
Is it? I don't know if it's healthy.
It's like borderline.
I don't know if that is healthy.
I mean, you always want to critique yourself, but you also like don't want to take away from your actual win.
Maybe.
Like what you actually, because it's kind of like training. You go to. I was the other day. I went on a run, and me and my partner who I was running with, heart rate was too high.
Yeah.
It was an easy run. We're supposed to have just an easy run, but our heart rate was too high. We just stopped and walked. I remember just like saying, like, man, this sucks. I was like, no, it doesn't. We're out here.
Yeah.
Like, we laced up our shoes, we got out of bed, and we came early in the morning to go run. And look, we're still out here. We're active. End of the day, we did something. I ran more than I would have ran, and I walked more than I would have walked.
That's right.
So we came out here. We got it. And
Still aerobic fitness.
Yep, exactly. Still building our base. But it's the negative spirals that we get ourselves into. So a lot of times it's like, I actually was doing research on this type of stuff, getting ready for this podcast. If y'all don't know, we're talking about mental toughness. But there's a lady who talked about mental spiral, negative spirals, like when we were in a race or before we even get into a race, you're in a workout, we tell ourselves these things. Oh, I'm not fast enough. I can't do it. She was like, stop and ask yourself 3 questions. It was, the first question was, is it true? Like, is it true what you're saying right now?
Yeah.
Like, and is it absolutely true?
Yeah.
Can you actually like prove that this is actually true?
Yeah.
All right. And then the second question is, how do I react when I have that thought?
Okay.
Like say,
So what's your response?
yeah, how do you respond to that?
Yep.
And the third one is, who would you be without that thought?
Is this Byron Katie?
Yeah.
I have several of her books. I've listened to 2 of them. Yeah, she's really good. She's very good. I like her a lot. I need to listen to more of her books, apparently.
Yeah, but who are you without that thought? That thought that's telling you, I could have did more.
Yeah.
Who's that thought that, oh, I should have did this? Like, who are you, Lauren, without that thought? I'm saying you're a monster. You're a dog. It's in you.
Like, by jog, do we mean like a 3-legged chihuahua?
No, I don't know. See, you already.
There it is.
No, you're a beast.
In the corner, doing
you
this.
podium. How many women have done high rocks and not be able to podium, but they keep doing high rocks, or done Spartans,
Yeah.
never podium? Like, you've done so many great things. You just.
I don't know. I feel like sometimes, and I'm not saying about you, Lauren, because there's some other people that I know.
Sure.
I'm thinking about someone very particular, and it's not you at all, not even close to you.
Sure.
But like I feel sometimes like you get comfortable in that like vulnerability and in that like not loss, but like in the being the underdog or being like the person who's got to overcome everything. And so you get so comfortable with that you're always like trying to make sure, and not intentionally, but you're always looking for
Like it's a crutch?
the failure. Right. Yeah, it becomes a crutch, yeah. But like you're looking for the failure rather than seeing the success. Right. So you get a new job, and instead of being excited about the job, you're like, oh man, I hope I don't screw this up. But hey, I got a new job paying $30 an hour. But I'm only working 2 days a week or something. I don't know, right? So it's like you always, instead of finding the positive, you're always looking at like what could be wrong or what could go wrong, right?
Sure.
So I had a conversation actually with somebody today, and they kept saying, what if? I'm like, oh, what if? And I was like, okay, I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be rude or anything, but I mean, you could do the what if game all day long.
Yeah.
You could be like, what if you stepped into a pothole and broke your ankle, right? What if you were running down the street and a car ran over you, right?
Yeah.
Anything, you could slip. You could slip in the shower, fall on the toilet, bust your head open, and destroy the toilet.
Okay, up until you said
flood the entire house. You could do that. I've seen it happen before in my home.
up until you say busted your head. That was like, this must have happened to you because these are very specific
Didn't
events.
happen to me, but it happened to somebody in my home. So anything can happen at any given point. So like doing all this what if stuff, like, I mean, what if you succeeded? What if you were consistent? What if you actually hit your goal? instead of focusing on like what all the bad things that can happen, like I feel like one of the things that can help you with your mindset and help you like be successful is instead of focusing so much on what all the bad things are that might come to fruition, is focus on all the good things that might come to fruition, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, visualization, that's like one of the things that they always talk about. I remember on the other podcast I'm on, the Kind of Nice, when y'all won't hear my voice that much on that one. But we had a sports, well, you're not allowed to call them a sports psychologist. There was a word for it, another term. But she was there, and she has NFL players, golf guys, gymnasts, like pitchers, MLB players. Like, she has all these guys coming to them for advice. And she was like, one of the main things I always tell them is visualization training.
Yeah.
Visualize like where you want to be at. So like if you're a runner, visualize yourself crossing the finish line. That's a good thing. But also visualize the suck. Visualize yourself saying, hey, I can't get through this moment. Like, oh, I'm not that fast, so I'm not going to get my PR. Visualize how you're going to feel through that. And like whenever you're on your long runs, the last mile, run fast. Like run hard as you can, and like, not hard as you can, but run like how the pace you're going to do in the race, and like that's the suck you're going to have because you already had a long run and they're going to run the pace you want to do. Mm-hmm. That's a suck. Visualize, go through that pain, go through that, and like understand you can overcome it. It's still visualization training. You're still going through it. It's just visualizing the suck a little bit, but you're not like saying, what if I get hurt? You're not saying that, but you're just like saying, I know it's because you're going to, every race, a marathon, you're going to embrace.
There's going to be discomfort.
Yeah, there's discomfort. Yeah. Exactly. Visualize that, but visualize yourself overcoming that.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? What are you going to focus on? Like, oh, do I need to take my fuel right now? Do I got to fix my arms? Do I got to work on got to pick my legs up? What do I got to do to overcome this? Mm-hmm. Visualize it. So when it does come, you're prepared.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we always say don't do anything new on race day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in training, and so I think that's what training is. I think training is really yes, you're preparing your body, you're preparing your heart, good aerobic foundation, you're strengthening your legs, you're improving your run form and efficiency. But I think more than anything, you're preparing your mind for what's about to come. And so when, we always talk about like creating those neurological pathways, the muscle memory, right? And so at some point in any event, if it's going to be hard or you're going to do your best, well, you're going to start to hurt, right? And when you start to feel uncomfortable, the first thing that tends to happen is any efficiency or good form you may have, it tends to just like go out the window, right? Because you're just holding on for dear life, right?
You're trying to get through.
I think I even mentioned this on Sunday, like when we were that last little bit, right? And everybody's like, Rocky, right? And everybody's cheering for you and stuff. And so I started picking up the pace, and I was going faster and faster. And I remember I was coming around the curve, and man, my form was trash. I was overstriding. I was like, my arms were swinging all over the place. And I realized, I was like, dude, I was running fast, right? But I was working way harder than I needed to, right? So, like, I was really working against myself, and I probably could have gone faster with less effort had I been focused on my form instead of, like, I got to get this guy, right? So, in training, if you're practicing those movements, when you get uncomfortable, you quicken your cadence rather than trying to reach out and grab ground, well, then you kind of, when you get into the race, when you get into that environment, those are things you can fall back on, and they can actually help get you through it, because then instead of focusing on the pain or focusing on the discomfort, you're focusing on how can I get past this discomfort? How can I keep moving forward? Instead of like, oh my God, I hope I can make it. Oh, please help me make it. Just focus on your cadence, focus on whatever. So like, I told you guys last week I did a speed workout, and like I was dying, like it crushed me, right? And so the last few minutes, it was just a 20-minute tempo run, right? And like 15 minutes in, I was like, this is sucking, but I can make this. But then I ran over this stupid hill, right? I planned my route wrong, and that hill crushed me, right? Because it was long. And I got to the top of it, and it was like 17 minutes. So I still had like 3 minutes to go. So the whole rest of the way, all I was trying to focus on wasn't the time. I didn't look at my watch. I was just focused on quick feet. Pick up your heels, quick feet, pick up your heels. Don't think about anything but quick feet. So I was talking myself through like the form of it. And when I would look down, like my pace was actually faster than it had been before. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? So when I was struggling before, because I was so focused on the time and I was like trying to just make the pace, well, I was fighting against myself. But when I started focusing on my form and like getting out of my head and trying to like not will myself, but like focus myself, then I actually was going faster, right? So it didn't hurt me less, but I was able to actually run the pace, right? And then before I knew it was over. So I think those are things, that's what training is. Training is preparation for, whatever you're going to do.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things actually was when I was reading on this stuff, one thing they said about runners, like get a coach because it takes like because when you try to do it in your own hands, that's worrying. Like it's kind of like a sense of worrying, and you're putting like stuff that you don't know is going to work yet. Coaches have proven stuff that they know is going to work, or
Right.
they wouldn't be doing what they're doing.
Right.
And so you can like it that takes that worry out and it gives the just act. Because a lot of times we need to just act and like not think about it. So if we have a coach, we don't. It takes that thinking like, oh, what should I do today? Should I do a tempo run or what should I? And your coach tells you what to do. He has that. And so like, have you even seen confidence boosts from your clientele, like of runners, like how they've changed, like their confidence changes? You've seen them, and then to where they. I mean, we talked about how we had a lady who never wanted to run a 5K, and now she's running half marathons all the time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so usually what I see is like during the summertime, especially, I see people struggle. You know, because I'm telling them to slow down, and their heart rate's all over the place, and they're talking about how slow they are, and they're like,
It's hot.
this doesn't make any sense. How am I going to get faster by running slower? And I'm like, dude, it's hot outside. I promise you'll be faster, right? And you know, then I have them start doing speed work, and they don't hit the paces because it's too fast, right? So it's either too fast or too slow. Whatever I ask anybody to do is
It's
either too
wrong.
fast or too slow. It's just not the right thing, right? So, but then usually around September, October, it starts becoming this completely different thing. For those who have like been consistent, who've like, you know, weathered the storm, it's like night and day difference. Like I'm not even kidding, like how big a difference it is. And like not just in their pacing, but then in their confidence level, and they're like, oh, I can do more, you know, give me more, don't hold me back, right? So then normally around like the end of October and November, I'm having to like, okay, whoa, Nelly, whoa, ease up, killer, right? Because you know their confidence is built up, right, and they're boosted, right, and it's usually not until like close to race day they start getting a little nervous again, right? So that's oftentimes why we'll have like some kind of practice race or something beforehand, just to kind of help them get more comfortable, so that they get more comfortable in the race environment, pre-game, all that good stuff, practicing. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, some people, I think their confidence level has gone through the roof. I think other people, like, no, their confidence level hasn't gone through the roof. Like, it's just like still like the same, maybe even worse sometimes. I don't know. Like sometimes, I don't know. People are fascinating to me. Like their mindset. Like it doesn't matter like how many inspirational quotes and like how well people succeed or how well they do. For some people, it's never going to be good enough, right? It's never going to be, you know, they're still, because they have this image of themselves, or they have this like concept of themselves, right, that is not very positive. And so it doesn't matter like what accomplishment they get, they're going to figure out a way to like
To make sure it's not good enough.
Yeah.
To
Right.
why it's not enough.
Oh, I think I definitely fall in that category.
But you said you do practice races before the actual race.
yeah.
That's like a pretty smart thing to do, I guess, if you really think about it, because then it takes away that nerves. 'Cause
It
they're,
helps,
They're not
yeah.
nervous
It
about
helps you
the
get ready
practice
and mentally
race.
practice
I mean,
it.
the more you race, the more comfortable you are. It's just
Yeah.
like it's like going out and running. The more you run, the
You-
more comfortable you get with it. You don't get as nervous.
You know
right?
kind of what to expect.
Yeah, you know the expectation,
Yeah.
right? So maybe I'm not saying like if you're training for a marathon, don't go run like 3 marathons before, but like maybe a 10K. You know, if you can have plenty of time beforehand, like maybe within 12 weeks, maybe a half marathon or something, so that you can recover and stuff. But you know, those are good distances or good events to do to kind of work through your race plan, see if it's actually a good race plan, kind of help test your fitness,
Yeah.
see how you've progressed, see if there's anything you need to change or adapt. You can work on your pacing, you can work on your nutrition, your your pre-race strategies and stuff. You can practice all that stuff so that you can fine tune it over the next 10 to 12 weeks before your actual big event, right?
And I mean, I think the same thing would go for like if you're doing a high rocks or an OCR. If you've never done one, go find a local gym that's either doing a sim or a PFT or has something that can kind of run you through the idea of what the event's going to be like, so you kind of know what to expect and how you can expect your body to feel between stations and running and certain obstacles. Always give yourself a chance to practice in a similar setup.
Yeah, I know one thing that's been helping me out with my confidence has been like these challenging workouts that we've been having. And I mean, even after our Sunday run, you were like, man, we're running 5:45 right now, but me and Tom a year ago, we weren't going lower than this. Like this was kind of it. Like that's a confidence boost for me. And I think just doing challenging workouts and like completing them, and that's a confidence boost for anybody. Like especially when like you didn't think you could do it, or just doing something that's tough throughout the week, or tough that's like running 5 extra minutes on a run. Stuff like that to just push you
Yeah.
a little bit to have these do you have confidence boost workouts for like other clients or anything like that? Or you just
I consider speed work to be confidence boost. Honestly, I mean, yes, there's certain workouts you do to build strength and build your lactate threshold and your anaerobic capacity. But honestly, man, like when I prescribe speed work, it's to build your confidence. It's to learn how to run a particular pace, how to be comfortable being uncomfortable, right? Because you're going to get uncomfortable if you're going to do your best. And that's the thing I think, is that most people. Last night I had a client and we were here late, and they were struggling in the workout and stuff, and they was like, I don't know why I'm always tired. I'm not da-da-da-da-da. So we went down the list of why they're always tired. He'd had like 3 quad shots yesterday. He'd had like, I don't know, maybe 1,000 calories total for the day, not very much protein, and then he slept like 4 hours the night before. I was like, bro, it's not the fact that you're coming to work out with me today, the one day a week we work out. It's because of how your lifestyle is, and because, you're hopped up on caffeine till about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then you have this major crash, and then you come see me at 9:30, right? So it's like, it's not the workout, it's your lifestyle, right? If maybe we worked out like 3 or 4 days a week, and maybe you drank some coffee in the morning, and maybe you waited till the afternoon before you came and worked out and took the caffeine, you might feel completely different. You ate a little bit better, right? You treated yourself better. You would probably feel completely different. He's like, oh man, I can't, or whatever. And I was like, he said, I'll try. And you know what happens if you tell me try.
Yeah.
Right? We go into Yoda territory, right? And so I was like, there is no try. There's do or do not. So I told him the whole story of Yoda and Luke, and
you gave him that whole thing again?
It was dramatic. It was so good. It was my best version of telling that story.
You should just have the clip and like flip it up on the
just have it, but
TV.
that was the best I probably ever told it. It was so good. And, at the end, I was like, do your best, man. It's about your effort. What effort are you putting in? So most people don't give their best effort. Most people give like a half effort, and they say, I'm trying. Right? Well, if you go into it, that's the whole reason why we always use the words, don't say can't, right? That's why it's rule number 1 in the gym. Don't say can't.
5 burpees yesterday because of that.
He did. Because when you say can't,
Yeah.
you basically are telling yourself already, you're admitting that there is no opportunity for you to be successful. So when you say, I can't, but I'll try, well, I already know your effort level is going to be very low, right? But if you say, I believe I can do this and I'm going to go do it, well, your effort level changes. It is so crazy to see people like give max effort as opposed to like half effort. If you see somebody in the gym and they got a pad underneath them and they're trying to do the monkey bars, I see people all the time drop off the monkey bars. Not fall off the monkey bars, but let go.
Give up.
Like, oh man, that was so hard.
Yeah, we see it a
I was
lot.
like, you didn't do your best effort. You could have made that. No, I couldn't make that. I couldn't. It was too hard, man. It's like, oh, my hand slipped. Oh, it's too sweat or it's slippery or whatever. Now you change that, and instead of having a mat and they're 7, 8 feet off the ground, you remove the mat and you put them 20 feet off the ground.
Yeah,
Their effort level is going to be completely different. They're not letting go. It doesn't matter how slippery it is because they're worried about life and limb. So sometimes I feel like what happens is people's mindset and their effort level is connected to their motivation. And if you're motivated not to die, your effort level is going to change.
Yep.
You're motivated to, conquer your goals, your effort level is going to be different. If you're so sometimes, there's so many different aspects of, motivation, mindset, consistency, and confidence that go into being a really good athlete. And, if you cannot, and I feel like if you're in your consistency and getting around like good groups and good coaching, that should build over time, right? But like I said, like if you're constantly inundating like negativity and you're constantly like, I suck, or I can't do this, or I'm not gonna be able to, or, oh, I'm just tired of failing all the time. If you're always saying that over and over and over and over again, who's hearing that?
Yourself.
You're telling yourself that all the time. And so if you're constantly saying it, then you're constantly hearing it, well, what do you think is going to come out?
I think that we should try something where we get like a little Nerf water gun or a spray bottle.
Yep.
And anytime
like you would do for a cat.
Well,
like a spray bottle?
well, I mean, a Nerf gun, but a Nerf gun's gonna be like might be too aggressive for some. Some of the spray bottle might just be easier. It might be also easier to hide from kids. But like a little something. Anytime people start thinking they're gonna say can't, or you think they're gonna drop off just because they
that's
can't.
what the burpees are supposed to be for, right?
Yeah, but people don't want to get wet unnecessarily. No one wants to do burpees,
Do you
but
know
also
what
no
would
one doesn't
happen
want to
if
get
I was
wet.
walking around just spraying people randomly with a freaking spray
I
bottle?
might come tomorrow with a water gun. I might show up tomorrow with a water gun and just try it. And just like anytime when someone,
Well,
I'll take the hit, not you.
I mean, today, the last couple of days, the temperature's gone down. I mean, in the middle of the summer when it's 114 degrees, I don't think anybody's going to have a problem with that, right? They actually might welcome it.
Today's 86.
But today,
Was
with this
it?
kind of
We got a
winter
little
weather
rain?
we've got coming up, you
Yeah,
know,
it's about to
Some
rain,
rain?
I don't know how people are going to appreciate that. I don't know.
Then they might not fall off.
I'm going to let you try it. See what
I'll
happens.
try it.
Well, in doing my research, though, I've seen that with this, it is how you talk to yourself. You got to watch how you talk to yourself because your body responds to how you would talk to yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
And the one thing that they said to do was talk to yourself in second person,
Okay.
not in third person. Like, you can do this.
Yeah.
You can do. I mean,
So I can't walk around saying Lauren's going to do this.
no, that's third person. Yeah, you gotta say
That's
you
third
tell
person.
yourself you can do this. And I always feel like I always say, "Come on, rock." I always tell myself that if I'm struggling, "Come on, rock." That's kind of third person, I guess. But like, you got this. I need to start saying more like stuff like that, and like habitually starting to tell yourself, "You got this. You can do it. You are fast enough." Like especially when it sucks.
Yeah.
That's
I do
that's
that.
gonna help out.
I'll
Apparently.
do it in races all the
Yeah.
time.
I do
I'll
it.
be running when I'm hurting. I'm like, come on, dude, you got this. You got this. You got this. Come on. Pick up those feet. Drive those knees. Come on. You did it already. You can do it again. You've done it before. You can do it again. I tell myself that when I hurt all the time.
Yeah.
I do that. No, I'll do that, especially when I'm running. It's like at High Rocks, when I'm running those laps and I start getting tired, if I start doing what I do and I panic, I do the panic breathing. Sometimes I'll tell myself, take a deep breath, slow it down if you have to, but fix your pace or fix your knees, and I'll like walk myself through steps
Yeah, but
to do
what he's
it.
talking about is like reinforcing your ability to do it, not like like instructions on like form, and that's all good stuff too. But he's talking
Yeah.
about like encouraging
Yeah,
yourself.
you are
right?
capable of
So like
hard
when I'm
things.
out there and you guys are out there
Oh,
running, you hear me shouting and screaming at you like, "You got this! You can do this!" Right? It's very apparent that I'm in the building, right? But what he's talking about is
Yeah.
like being able to do that for yourself, right?
Yeah, I
Because
don't know,
honestly,
actually,
I make jokes about this all the time. I think we were in class the other day, Monday. I think we were doing curls or something like that, and I was like, somebody looked down at their arm or whatever while they were curling, one of the ladies, and I was like, that's right, everybody, look at your arm as you're doing it. That's right, look at it. If you want to bite your lip, bite your lip. It's all right. I was like,
Yeah.
if you can't appreciate it, nobody else will. And they all kind of like laughed and giggled, but it's true. Like if you don't like what you see, if you can't appreciate what you see in the mirror or out on the course or whatever, why does it matter what other people think?
Exactly.
If you don't like it, it doesn't matter whether people like it or not. You're not going to believe that it's
Yeah.
good. So you could have people all day long telling you how amazing you are, how smart you are, how pretty you are, how great your bangs look. It
don't
doesn't
look great.
really matter if you don't think it looks good, right? So you have to, I think we all have to come to terms with like our own confidence, right? And it's easy for somebody, that people feel like has great self-confidence to tell other people to be confident in yourself, right? But I don't care who you are and how confident you are. Everybody has had those instances where they didn't feel great.
Yeah.
And they didn't feel strong, or they didn't feel fast, or they didn't feel attractive, or, they felt less than. And I feel like that all the time, and especially when you're married. When you are married and you have, children, like a lack of confidence is something that you really can't afford, but it's something that you question all the time. Like, am I being a good husband? Am I being a good father? Do they still love me? Why am I getting left out all the time? Like, why are my daughter and my wife, like, why do they love each other and sleep together all the time? And I'm sleeping by myself, right? There's always these, like,
poor James.
things that you're constantly, like, having to, like, confront yourself with. And that's just an attack of the enemy to question
Yep.
who you are. It's your identity.
Yeah.
If you can come to the place where you don't even know who you are and you question your identity constantly, you're never going to be successful. You have to know who you are and whose you are
Amen.
to truly be successful.
Message.
There you go.
Do you, what you mentioned earlier, and I do think this works, is the visualization training. Do you ever do any kind of visualization specifically, like have you ever done like with members, like where when they come in to do a training session, like you give them a very specific goal or have them write down a goal and it's like, okay, you're going to deadlift this and this is like, write it down so you have like a visualization of the number that you can hit.
we establish it, yeah. So I usually force, not the right word. I usually encourage everybody to come up with at least 3 goals,
Yeah.
right? And they don't all have to be specific to running, right? So a lot of times when I'm run coaching, people have a race they're going for, right? But then I also encourage them to do something else, right? So lose 3% body fat in 4 months, or deadlift 100 pounds or something like that, right? So we always put something that's specific, and I write it down, whatever the date is and whatever the thing is. Now, when we're doing training, obviously the workouts and everything we're doing is to guide them to get there.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, what I find, people forget their goals.
Yeah.
Right. I have so many people, like, I don't know, like they'll, like 6 months later, I'm like, all right, it's time to get on the scale. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, we got to do measurements. I don't want to do measurements. I was like, yeah, but you had a goal to hit, and this is D-Day. We got to do it. But I didn't eat right this week.
Yeah.
Or I drank this weekend or something. They'll say something dumb. And I'm like, hey, it's D-Day. These are your goals, not mine. It's time to figure out if we've been doing the right thing, right? And so, you know, like I usually am the one keeping them accountable and holding them to the standard. But, you know, I think people, it's really easy like to lose sight of the original plan or the original goal as you're going through things, right? And it kind of can fall by the wayside just because you get a sense of busyness or a small sense of success, right? And you're like, you kind of get satisfied with being comfortable and you forget that this whole thing, the whole reason I even started doing whatever I'm doing was to hit this big goal.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's almost like you give yourself an excuse to like remain status quo.
Yeah.
So having a coach or having other people in your life to kind of help keep you honest is very helpful. I mean, I can't tell you how many, like, I mean, last week was a perfect example. I mean, like, I hit 15 minutes of that run, and I almost was like, you know what? That's 15 minutes. That's good. 5 minutes isn't going to make that big a difference, right? Good run. I'm not feeling great. I hit 15 minutes. I hit the pace. I'm good. So there was a battle. There was that thought was going on in my mind. Like these thoughts are constantly going over, and I was like, no, man, you can do this. Just go to 16 at least, right? At least go to 16. So I hit 16 minutes, right? Or it was like 16:30 when I looked down again. I was like, all right, well, just get to 17 minutes. By that time, you should be over this freaking hill, right? So like I got over the hill and I got to the bottom and it was 17:30. And I was like, okay, that's good enough. And I was like, no, I only have 2.5 minutes left. I've already ran 17. I can go 2.5 minutes, right? So I was like, fine, just do it, right? And then 2.5 minutes seemed to take forever, right?
Do you get like frustrated when you convince yourself just do it? Like, do you just get like, oh God, fine, I'll just do it?
No.
I get so frustrated.
Like it's
with myself.
constantly. So basically, some people will negotiate with themselves, right? People will negotiate, say, okay, well, if I could just, well, even if I, like, let's say their goal is to run a sub 4-hour marathon, and they're running, they take off too hot or something, whatever, and then mile 20 hits, and they could still hit their goal, but they start to hurt, right? And they're like, well, I'm still going to get a PR, so I'm fine. Right, and so they're satisfied with the PR rather than the ultimate goal was a sub 4, right? Or it's a marathon. I just want to finish anyway. I'm still amazing just by finishing. So you give yourself an out.
Yeah.
Right. I don't do that. Instead, I try to figure out ways to like just take one more step. Right. So we talked about that guy Dean Karnassus or whatever. A couple weeks ago when we talked to Dustin.
Yeah.
And one of the things he said that in an interview I saw with him one time, and I think I've mentioned this before, but he talked about how he was doing like a 200-something mile race or something.
Yep.
And like the tip of his nose hurt and like his earlobes hurt. And it was just like pain everywhere.
Yeah.
And they were like, how do you keep going? Like, how do you run 250 miles? He's like, well, I don't run 250 miles. I just run like one step at a time. I just tell myself, take one more step, right? And then when I take that step, I tell myself to take one more step. So that's all I do. Like ever since I heard that changed how I thought about like training and running, because now when I start to hurt, I'm like, okay, you just took that step, dude. You can take another step. What's another step, right? Or what's another minute? Or what's another 30 seconds, right? You can do this. You can do this. And so I'm constantly telling myself that I can do it. And here's the crazy thing. Every time you do it, well, if you could do 15 minutes at that pace, well, you could probably do 15 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, if you can do 15:30, you can do 16. If you can do 16, my God, right? So it's just constantly compounded, right? So, I think that's why it's so neat to see people whose maybe their goal originally was to run a 5K, and then all of a sudden they're running marathons because they convince themselves that a 5K was so hard, and then when they conquer it, they think, well, man, if I could do that, what else could I do? And then each thing they keep just chopping away. So, I feel like we're only limited by the limits we put on ourselves, right? So all things are possible for the one who believes. So if you believe it, and it's lame and it's like, one to grow on, but if you believe it, you can achieve it.
Amen.
But if you don't believe it, you'll probably never be able to succeed it.
I actually heard today something about most failures aren't because people aim high and they miss. It's because they aim low and they hit. And
That's good. Yeah.
I like that
or
one.
they don't aim at all.
Yeah.
I like that
that's
one.
That's how it all happens. Like aiming high, aiming actually big and actually going for it, you won't fail.
Can you
Right.
send me
Because you-
that when you find it?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, so I think this is what's so interesting about like this topic, or just maybe not in this topic. Let's put it this way. That's what I think is so interesting about social media. Okay, I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but there are so many influencers.
There's a lot.
Right.
It's
So
easy
many.
to be an influencer
And
nowadays.
the other thing is like everybody's an expert.
Yes.
And everybody's a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
Right. We can pull up Instagram right now, go through Reels, and probably within 3 seconds we'll find some motivational thing that's like, I get up in the morning to crush wills or something, just some kind of thing, and then you watch it and you're watching this guy with abs like doing muscle ups and like snatching and 400 pounds or whatever, and he's like, I'm I'm da 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 da, and you're inspired, right, in that second, and then you swipe up to the next reel.
And then it's a monkey wearing a tutu.
Exactly. So it's like you're constantly like there's all these inspirational things, and back in the day when I was, I remember like when I first started working in the in the corporate world, they'd have like
Oh, the hang in there?
they'd have pictures on the wall of like a cat that's like hang in there,
Hang in
or
Or
Yeah.
the teamwork with all the penguins or something. I remember
so like
those.
they'd have little things like motivational. So
Yeah.
I mean, we could say the best motivational speaking and sayings in the world and all that stuff is great, but until you change what's between your ears,
It ain't gonna work.
none of that stuff matters. None of that stuff means anything.
And I think so much of it when it comes to social media, I don't want to hate on people who are out there like influencing. If somebody like speaks to you, if something about their story or them speaks to you and is relatable, and their message is hopefully positively impacting you, enjoy. But it is, I think, become very oversaturated because you do see all these quotes, all these people posting things. So it's real easy to just like see it, scroll past it, and see the next one 2 seconds later.
I post them, right?
I post them. I mean,
post them because I'm trying to get subscribers and followers, and I'm trying to get likes.
well, I save
I'm trying to
ones.
work that
Shoes.
algorithm.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
I save ones that really, ones to me that hit deep and like actually resonate. I save them so I can go back and relook at them. Ones
But
that
here's the
speak to
question I
me.
have, right? And this is the challenge, right? So this is why I think, okay, the people in your life are so important. Because some of us have people in our lives that are our friends.
Yes.
Right? And we live life together, we go through life, and, we laugh, we have a good time. Sometimes we get a little agitated with each other. And that's kind of the extent of it, right? And I feel like a lot of people today have those kinds of friends. Then you have those relationships where people challenge you constantly. And they're constantly in your face, and they're constantly like, you can do better, or they're constantly like, hey, let's go, right? And your friends, it's family. That's what that really is. That's family.
I would say at that
right?
point, it's
That's
definitely more than
family,
friends.
Okay? And yes, you may rub each other the wrong way, but you put up with each other's crap, right? Because you love each other, because of that relationship, right? And so you mentioned earlier, like the iron sharpening iron thing, right? I don't know how many times I've said this. I'm sure I've said it ad nauseum. I'm sure people get sick and tired. They probably heard me say it before. But the only way that anything can get sharpened is by
Resistance and tension.
friction.
because of that friction
Yeah.
and the rubbing away of those those edges, right? So this is so dumb, and just bear with me. But you guys have seen the movie Rambo, yes?
We've had this discussion.
You've
I'm
never
sorry.
seen Rambo?
No, we've had
we've
this
had it about
discussion.
Predator, but I didn't know you've never seen Rambo.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch it. I haven't
Actually, the
looked it
first
up.
one is actually like not what you would think.
Who's
Like it's
Rambo
a
again?
a dramatic
It's Rocky.
story.
Stallone.
Is it
Sly.
Stallone? It's still Stallone?
It's Stallone, yes.
It is Stallone?
The first one is very dramatic, and it's actually a really good movie. I mean, it's a very good movie. But Rocky Part 2. I mean, Rambo Part 2. Okay? First Blood Part 2, which I never understood that, but either way. So, like, his old commander, Colonel Troutman, comes in, or is it Rambo 3? No, this is Rambo 3. I'm sorry. He's like in Thailand or Vietnam or something. And so he's trying to convince him to go do some mission, right? And he's like, my war is over. And so his colonel walks up to him and he's like, tells him this story about this marble thing or whatever. And this sculptor he took this piece of rock in and he sculpted it or whatever for years. And then he brought it out and everybody saw it and they were like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. You're such an amazing artist, da 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 da. And he said, me? I'm not an amazing artist. He's like, all I did was just chip away the loose edges.
Uncovered what was
art
there.
was already there.
Yeah, I've heard.
The marble was there.
I've already heard that.
And so he
Yeah.
tells Rambo, he's like, we didn't make you into this fighting machine that you are. We just chipped away the rough edges.
Ooh.
Right? So,
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, that's pretty intense.
That's
I
bars.
like that. That's nice, right? I'm like, dang. I'm already an animal. I'm already a beast. I just little rough edges I need to have sanded down.
You need
You know
to
what I'm
clients
saying?
when they come in, they're like, I like this marble that I'm working with right here.
That's what I'm talking about. So, like, I like the concept of that, like the idea that, like, there is something great in me already, right? Like, not to like sound that I'm amazing or whatever, but there's something in me that is great, and I need to put the right parameters, training, people in my life to help smooth out those rough edges and bring out the greatness that's inside of me. And so now, does that mean that I'm not going to fail? Does that mean that maybe I'm not going to get a little cracked or whatever? Or does that mean that I might need to get the rough edges smoothed out? I might need to have somebody maybe give me a little friction to really help challenge me to get me to the best me I can possibly be. Those are the types of relationships I desire in my life. Those are the types of relationships in me that have been the best, because those are the things that have helped bring the best out of me.
Message.
I think in terms of like friction, and you actually said this to me before last Sunday workout, because I think saying something like how I'm just so nervous about like Dallas. I just want to make sure we do well. I was putting a lot of pressure on performing well in Dallas for High Rocks, and I was just very nervous. And you always tell me like you can't control other people, you can only control what you do. And I always hear that, and I try to keep that. But then this particular time, you said something to me that you probably didn't realize how much I took it to heart, which was, do you want it? And you just literally all you said, like you said it like kind of like, get this chick off my text messages. You said, do you want to earn it? Do you want it? Do you want to earn it, or do you just want it handed to you? And that was literally all you said. And I like wrote it down, and the entire time I was running those laps and they hurt. I was feeling so not good that day when we did track, and I had that pop into my head probably every time we went out and did laps, and it just reminded me this does not feel good. Like, I'm not feeling good today, but I want to earn it. Like, I don't want the things I want to be handed to me. I don't want to get them by default.
Sure.
And I don't want to get them because like I'm the only one who showed up. I want to get them because I overcame other people who also put in the work and showed up.
Yeah.
So especially on my last lap, and I had probably one of my fastest laps to date.
Yeah.
On the last one. So that stuck a lot to me.
I do think that sometimes we put too much focus, and I was actually coaching somebody today about this. I think sometimes we put too much focus on the end result,
Yep.
and we don't focus enough on the day-to-day,
Yeah.
right? So, it was the same person, they were talking about, they were worrying about some stuff, what have you. And so, there's a scripture or whatever that talks about don't worry about tomorrow, because today has enough problems basically for itself, right? But in all things, through, prayer, through meditation, be thankful. Okay. And then whatever things are good, whatsoever things are of good report, whatsoever things are helpful, whatever things are like uplifting to the body, think on those things. And so like, that's not usually the MO for most people. Most people hyper focus on all the bad things that could possibly happen. They focus on all the horrible things. And then they start talking about, oh, I did this wrong. I did this wrong. Oh, I missed this. Oh, I should have done that. Oh, I should have done that. And so it's just constantly like breeding this negative. Now, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. But, I have had influences in my life, and I have had people, I've been in ministry and church for a long time. And, there are certain things in life that I think you cannot, like you could go get a degree, but you still don't really know until you experience it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So there are some things in my life that I've experienced through trial and through error and through relationships and through ministry and other things that have taught me a lot. And, I think that so many of the things that we deal with in our training, so many things we deal with in our personal lives, sometimes we put them on ourselves because we choose, and to me, it is a choice. We choose to focus on the wrong things, right? And if we don't make a decision to change our focus, right? This is honestly, so there's a scripture in Mark, and it says, and it talks about all things are possible for the one who believes, right? There's a scripture in Romans that talks about changing your mind, right? Every single day, renewing your mind. That's where change your mind, change your life came from, because it all begins up here, right? If you can change the way you think about things, if you can change the way you like, seriously, like my pastor used to say this thing about how, like, oftentimes we view things through the lens of our experiences, right? So in other words, like, I view racism based on how I've experienced racism, right? I haven't really experienced any racism, right? I'm a mixed person. I'm half black. I'm half white. The only racism I've ever experienced was from the black side of my family, right? So none of my other friends I've never experienced. I've never been called a name. I've never been called whatever.
And you grew up in the country.
And I grew up in the country, right? I never, like, in podunk country, right? I never experienced, like, any type of racism. So to me, like,
It was
I don't
non-existent.
understand some of the issues some of the people are having, but that's because I'm viewing it from the lens of my experience, right? In the same aspect, marriage, when I was growing up, my parents got a divorce when I was very young, and I saw the two of them constantly fighting and yelling and screaming and like getting into it, and my dad was unfaithful and all this other stuff. And so when I was younger, my experience of marriage up until that point was that it wasn't a good thing. And I had no great example, except some people took me in when I was very young, when I was like 16, 17 years old, and they were a great, like, family unit. And so I was able to see, like, what a good family unit looked like, how people, prefer the other person, how compromise is created, how they deal with, problems and issues, right? How they interact with one another. And so, so I had this experience over here, but at a certain time I had this experience, and it helped me understand. I got to see both sides of it. And so because of that, I see what the negative side is, but I'm going to focus on what it's going to take to be successful. Does that make sense?
To
Right?
work.
So oftentimes, if we failed in our past or we've done something, everything we do in our future, we always look back, or we always use that bad thing or those things in our past that have been that are to be our crutch, instead of saying, okay, yes, that was something that happened. That was something that was bad, but that's not who I am. That's what I went through. That's what I experienced. And so when you move forward, you can slowly take those steps, focusing on, you know what? I never thought I'd be able to run a mile, but look at me, I'm running 3 right now. That's crazy, right? Or I never thought I would ever do anything like go do a high rocks race, okay? Well, if I can go do a high rocks race, well, I can get better at a high rocks race. And so you're constantly looking forward. You're looking for how you can improve. But more than that, than just about improvement, you're looking at how you can find those successes, right? It's reward yourself for the efforts, not necessarily for the end result.
Preach. Gosh, dog,
This
James. Give me. I want to do a high five on that one. That was good stuff. But you're right. It's the efforts. Actually, today reminded me. So I saw Jamie after class. It's the first time I said the name, but I saw her after class, and she had like a log. She keeps like a log of what she does.
And she is the most
And I
organized
think that's so
individual.
like one of the smartest that you could possibly do, because
This chick, she comes in with her
Binder.
like she's coming from high school when we do our meetings.
And I think that's honestly, I'm gonna start a log, because she afterwards she was like, I did so much better than I did last week. I was like, that's a victory, that's a win, that's a confidence boost, and that's what like we should be doing. Like, Lauren, you talking about I have this and that. You couldn't even think of a win. You have a win all the time. You just said you had your fastest lap you ever to date. That's a win.
Yeah, that's true.
And so these are like things that we can remind ourselves of on a daily basis, how like our progression, because that's what matters, is our progression. It's not like, oh, am I getting to James level yet? It's not. What's rule number 4? Worry about yourself.
Worry about yourself.
Exactly. And so we need to worry about ourselves, and that's like, are you getting better? And so like you're saying how your clients, they focus on the end result, when like running is, it's doing your best on the day. Running is like it's a journey. It's about the journey. It's not about getting to the top of the mountain. You're running on the side of a mountain right now. Look at the views you're doing right now. Look at your 8-minute pace you're getting right now, then 7:30 pace you're going to have a month from now. Like, take those victories as you go. And like a log, I feel like, is a great confidence
Well, that's
boost.
one of the things I like about like having Garmin is because, actually I was having, Tommy was a perfect example, man. I was having a conversation with him. It was a little while back, whatever. It was before one of our competitions we were racing together. And like, he wasn't being super confident, and like, he was like, oh man, da 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 da. And so I went back to a year, like literally exactly a year from that date that we had that conversation, to look at the workouts that we were doing, right? to compare the two, right? I was like, okay, I don't feel like I'm getting any better. I feel like I'm getting slow. Not me. He was saying this, right? And I know that wasn't true, but he was having a confidence thing, and we all have them from time to time. And so I looked it up, and so I was like, I sent it to him. I was like, bro, look at this, right? This is the same. This is the workout we were doing last year at this time, okay? I think it was a hot day. It was, all the excuses, right? It's hot, you're tired, it's whatever, and so you don't feel like you're crushing the workout, right? You're hitting the times, but you feel like you're struggling too much. So I was like, this is a workout we did last year. This is the workout we did today, okay? This workout was like 800-meter repeats, take a break, do 100 meters of burpees. 800-meter repeat, take a break, so you get a break in between each thing. This workout is 1,000-meter repeats. But before the 1,000-meter repeats, we're doing 100-meter burpees, right? So you don't get a break between the two. The 800-meter repeats, we're like at a 6:45 pace. The 1,000-meter repeats, we're at a 6:05 pace. Okay?
Yeesh.
So do you see that there's a major improvement from one year to the next? Like, you are crushing that person of the past.
Yep.
And so, I think you can, if you're consistent, right, and you do keep a log like that, then you can go back and you can kind of see how you've progressed and see how well you've done. I was telling someone today that, one thing I am is consistent. Like, that's, like, in everything I do, because that used to be something I struggled with, but in everything I do, I am a man of consistency. I am a creature of habit, right? And the more consistent and the more I hyper focus on being like day to day these things, the more successful I am. So that's why I try to be as consistent as I can. And so over the last 7 years, I've been extremely consistent at doing specific things. And so because I wear a watch and I use Garmin, right, and I like looking at data and using those data points or whatever, I've been able to kind of keep basically a data log over the last 7 years. And when I look back over those numbers, right, so I was trying to set some paces for a particular race that I want to work for, so I needed to know what's the pace I want to run, so what are the paces I need to run for my speed efforts, stuff like that. And so I went back to, just because I was curious, I went back to like the first event I did that was just like it, to see, okay, what was that pace? What were the paces I was running leading up to that, right? What did that look like? And holy crap, like the difference between that person and this person, they don't even, like, it's like not even night and day. Like I don't even know how that guy even got up, how he was able to move at all. This guy was so slow. His heart rate was through the roof all the time. Like that James, like was he even fit? I don't think so. I think he was just a chubby little bunny running around trying to just pretend being fit, right? But it's because of the consistency, right? That was 7 years ago, right? So I was 37 years old, right? So 37 as opposed to 44. Now you think about those numbers. Now it's only 7 years, but if you had the choice to pick a 37-year-old athlete and a 44-year-old athlete, which one are you choosing?
Wasted all that youth on a bad athlete.
This guy.
But yeah, 37.
The 37-year-old,
Yeah.
right? But like I would smoke that guy, right? That guy wouldn't even be competition for me now, right? And so that is the thing, I think, that we focus, when we look back on our past, we focus on our failures rather than looking at how we've progressed from that person.
How far
Yeah.
we come.
Or we focus on like the hurts and the pains and all the things we struggled with, and we're just like, oh, this is what's keeping me from getting where I want to go. Instead of realizing that the only thing keeping you from where you want to go is you. That's it. Not that person. The person today. Because the person today is holding you back because you're choosing to doubt yourself. You're choosing to like let those thoughts conquer your mind. So if you can just take a deep breath and look for the positives, right? One of the practices that I was taught, like in church when I was growing up and like youth group and stuff, they would say in the morning, the first thing you should do is get up and be thankful for something. Just be thankful, right? Thank you for waking up. I'm thankful for being alive. I'm thankful that it's a sunny day. I'm thankful it's raining, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I'm thankful. Like find 5 things to be thankful for when you first wake up. And if you will do that, you will see your day change, right? And it's crazy. Like a spirit of Thanksgiving, a mindset of Thanksgiving changes how you view things. So you remember that thing I said about like how you view things is usually like directly connected to your experiences. Well, if your experiences in your mindset are all negative, well, everything you see is going to be negative and bad, right? But if you choose to start looking for the life and looking for the light and looking for the love and looking for the good, it's amazing how much, I mean, this world is jacked up. Anybody agree with that? That there's some crazy people, things, stuff going on every single day, right?
World's on fire.
Basically, right? So there's plenty of things for us to complain about and plenty of things for us to be upset about, right? The shoe that we talked about when we opened it up, there's plenty of things. $500? One run? You kidding me?
You know how many gas tanks that is?
That's what I'm talking
It's
about.
a whole lot of gas.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, my dad, the first car my dad bought me probably was only like $500. You know what I'm saying? So it's a $500 shoe. You're going to get like maybe 3 or 4 runs out of it, and you're only 500 people are going to get it, right? So that's some pretty negative things. But I saw that shoe, and that shoe was dope.
So it's dope.
And it looked fast.
PR is like nobody's business.
It was 4.8 ounces. 4.8 ounces. You know how light that is?
That's half a glass of water.
That's 4. I made a latte or a frappe earlier today, and I put 4 ounces of core protein in it.
Oh, my goodness.
4 ounces. That's that much protein, bro. That's nothing. It's got 39 millimeters of, like, the most bouncy super foam in the world.
I just have a real strong feeling that James is going to get the shoe on the next run.
I'll do a GoFundMe for him.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to have to put it out there for the folks, right? So, I mean, I could choose to look at the negativity, but I'm just saying there's a lot of positivity going on in this thing. You know what I'm saying? So you hear me, Adidas?
Adidas, please send this man a
Send me
pair
a
of these
shoe.
shoes. Please send him a shoe.
I'm pretty
He
sure
can't afford it otherwise.
I'm bottom
And
line on that one. Nah, there's no way in heck. So, but, well, you know what? Why am I being negative? Adidas,
right.
hook a brother up. You know I'm wearing your shoes.
There you go.
He is.
And your socks. Look at that.
And the socks.
3-stripe life. So,
That should be a shirt. Three-stripe
You're
life.
right, though. I
think
mean,
they have
you
one.
also
I do
said it
think-
earlier, though, like, because, you know, a lot of people focus on the negative, but you said it earlier how, like, we find identity in our what happened to us, our crisis. We find identity in, like, those things, and that thing didn't make us who we are. It didn't make us it doesn't make us. It happened to us, but the overcoming part. And,
Yeah. Actually, there's a cool story. It's a really good story, right? I'm going to put a twist on it just because. So there was this young man one time, and he had a disability, right? He couldn't walk. And so in his disability, he had like a mat, right, that he would lay on, okay? And so when he first started, he wasn't homeless, right? He just was, lame. He couldn't walk or what have you. Well, eventually, as he got older and older, he got fewer and fewer people to help him. And so eventually he came to a place where he, didn't have family members or anybody around to help him anymore. So he'd heard this rumor about this water place or whatever you could go to. And from time to time, like the water would shake around or whatever. It would like get disturbed.
Okay.
Like there were angels or, like gods or something that would like disturb the water.
Okay.
And so the theory was, or not the theory, but like the legend was that if you got into the water, if you were the first person to get into the water, any ailment you had would be healed. Right? And so he somehow gets to this body of water, right? And it's surrounded by people similar to him, that's some kind of ailment or whatever. And in hopes, watching every day that the water would stir so he'd get into the water. And so, like, from time to time, the water would stir, but the problem is he was lame. So he would try to crawl to the water, and he can never get to the water. He couldn't get it quick enough. Somebody else would always get before him. So the years passed on, the decades passed on, right? And so one day, this man comes up to him, and he sees him, and he's like, hey, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, well, I'm waiting for the water to stir or whatever so I can get in, but I don't have anybody here to help me get into the water. Would you help me move closer to the water? And he's like, do you want to get in the water or do you want to walk? And he's like, well, the only way I'm going to be able to walk is if I can get to the water. And he's like, that's not what I asked you. I said, do you want to get in the water or do you want to walk? And he's like, well, I want to walk. So he's like, well, pick up your mat and walk, right? So the guy's like, whoa, what are you talking about, you crazy guy, right? He's like, do you want to walk? He's like, yeah, well, then pick up your mat and walk. Now, as a person who was lame, he had the ability to receive funds from the government because he was disabled.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if he started walking, what would happen to his disability?
Gone.
he would lose his disability. So then he starts talking about how, well, if I pick my mat up, I'm going to lose my disability. And so he's like, well, do you want to walk or do you want to be disabled? Do you want to get this money, whatever? So the guy's got to make this decision. Does he want to get in the water? Does he want to keep getting checks? Or does he want to actually walk? And so he's like, pick up your mat and walk. So the guy picks his mat up, stands up, and he starts walking. And of course, he's all excited. He's like, whatever. He's like, I'm so happy, right? So he had a choice to make, right? So there was a sacrifice he had to make. He had to give up free money to walk, right? He had to give up the only life he knew for 30, 40 years was sitting next to this pool of water. So he probably had friends. He knew. So now he's literally walking into all new territory. He doesn't know where he's going to get money from. He doesn't know like what he's going to do tomorrow. But the question I have is he better off now than he was before?
Is he better off now that he's walking?
Yeah.
I'd say yes.
Yes? Why?
Because now he has more options open to him.
He has more options open to him?
He's capable.
He's
Or he realized,
capable? Is that what you just
no,
said?
he's capable. He realizes he's capable.
He realizes he's capable. Okay. So how many people wouldn't have gotten up?
I would say probably a lot.
A lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Because they're comfortable in what they're
Going
What
through.
they know.
what they're
Yeah.
familiar with, right? Rather than the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to ask somebody, are you better off being able to walk or not being able to walk? 100% of the people would tell you you're better off walking. So many of us struggle through life being disabled, holding on to the lameness that has plagued us our entire life because we're afraid of the unknown, or we're afraid we're going to lose this, or we're afraid we're going to lose that, rather than stepping up and becoming what we were supposed to be and doing everything that is unknown, right? The unknown is scary, right? New things are scary, right? But every time you conquer some new thing, that confidence should build, and you step into new territory that you never. I mean, there are so many things right now, a part of my life, that I would have never thought were going to happen, and every single one of them started because I stepped into a place where I was uncomfortable and that I didn't feel like I could completely do it on my own.
I agree with that.
Can I say it?
No, don't be dumb. You're so dumb.
Preach.
I
I couldn't help it. It was too good. I'm like an ad lib, like your. It's like what's that? The guy with rappers on a stage. He has a hype man.
Hype
I'm a
man.
Hype man.
That's me.
Yeah, but if you say it too many times, then it
loses
its
power.
meaning.
But I'm only saying it when it's actually meant to be said. You said a lot of stuff today, but I only said it 3 times. The 3 fire things you said.
Yep.
Maybe stop saying so many things that
I'll shut up.
are so powerful, James.
So there are certain things, like, I think that you should be passionate about. There are certain things in life, I think, that are inside of us that bring out the passion in us. And I'm not talking about things that tick us off or things that, like, aggravate us. I'm talking about things that, like draw something out of you, right? And this is, like, that's what like, fitness and coaching and, like the Word of God, those are the things that I'm passionate about. And the reason is because I've seen how true they are and how impactful they are for the life. And they have literally, these are the things that have helped to change my life. And they've helped to bring me my family. They've helped me, like, my daughter, like BC Fitness, like all of this stuff.
Me.
Rocky,
You.
right?
Yes.
Lauren, all of these things are things in my life that I don't deserve. And sometimes I don't feel like I've earned them. Not to say I don't work hard, right? But like there's other people who are way more qualified than I am. But through the grace of God, through consistency, through, hard work, and, through a choice that I made to step into, many choices I made to step into a place that was very uncomfortable. Like, I have been, like, extremely blessed, and I've grown a lot, and I've been able to see other people grow. And so it's so nuts to see how, like, the smallest thing can be a catalyst to change, like, people's lives or change things, right? So you were talking to one of my clients at the competition, and she was telling me, I was talking to her, and she told me that She told me, yeah, I talked to, I think his name was Rocky or Rock Dog or something like that. I was like, please, God, tell me he didn't introduce himself as Rock Dog. She's like, she kind of laughed or whatever. She's like, yeah.
But yes, he did.
And then he started like giving you a hard time. And he was like kind of like making fun of you or something.
Oh,
And I
my
stopped and I was
God.
like, oh, yeah, well, he's only changed my life. And I was like, when she said that, like I had to grab my heart. I was like, oh. I was like, you told him that? She's like, yeah. He's like, he was giving you what for? And I was like, and you've helped me with so many things. You've helped to change my life. Man, my eyes got watery.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's about, right? It's, yes, I want to help you run. I want to help you run things and get fitter and all that stuff. But like, if I can impact your life positively and you change, like, not just how you go about fitness, but like if it can help your life as well, spiritually, like physically, emotionally, like that is what this is about. That's why I'm passionate about this, is not just because like I can help get somebody in shape, because I know what this particular thing does for the rest of your life, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm a walking testimony of BC Fitness. I mean, before you, I guess I don't want to go too much detail about my life, but I was, I couldn't love myself. I didn't know. I literally couldn't even look in the mirror most of the days. And then, like, I met you. You were like, come meet me here on Wednesday. And then I didn't know you were, like, going to preach in front of everybody. That was, like, a thing. And then I remember after a few times of going, actually, I'm probably a year just going, I'm going to get baptized. And then remember you baptized me, and afterwards you were like, you don't got to do life alone no more. And I was thinking to you because I'm baptized now, I'm accepted into the cult. I'm kidding.
Oh my
I'm kidding.
God.
I'm kidding. I had to make it light. But no, I thought that's what it meant. But you called me the next day, and you called me like every single day after that. You bugged me, let's go running. And then like literally like my life changed completely to where my whole family sees it. To where I actually have a family now. Like I probably wouldn't have had that if it wasn't for you. I wouldn't have anything I have today if it wasn't for you. Like I got back into school, I graduated. All because like the stuff that you had taught me. You taught me how to challenge yourself, to be consistent, to go out there and do something. You taught me what training was. I didn't train really, but like you just got me to do a Dallas Spartan. And I was like, oh, this is pretty fun. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna train for another one in October. I was like, all right. Then we started training for that. Then I won that, and then like that gave me confidence.
Yeah.
And then I became a dog.
Okay, I was getting really misty-eyed until you did that, and then I was
But no, you
sucked it
really
in.
you really changed my life completely. Like I want to say 360. That means I'll be right back, but a 180, like to where my own family don't even recognize that old person is gone to them. Like this is the guy. Like
Yeah, but that's not me.
Well, I mean, it
Right?
came
number
from
one,
you, the influence.
It's the relationship you have with God,
Yeah.
right? That's the start. But like, I was just a catalyst, right? I was a witness, or I was a help to like for you to help, like realize there was a different way.
You took off the rough edges.
There we go.
Yeah,
That's it, man.
Yeah.
You're Rambo.
yeah. I'm Rambo.
I'm Colonel Troutman.
I'm Rambo.
There you go.
I don't know if you've ever said I'm Rambo.
Yeah, I don't know. It's Batman.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, my daughter loves that. There's this thing. Have you ever watched? Oh, it's called Hishi, and it's like
Hishi.
how it should have ended. And it's like these guys takes these little cartoons and he changes the whatever. So there's one with like Batman and Mario, and Mario's like sitting there with Superman and Batman. He's like, I'm a Mario. And he's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm here with the superheroes. And he's like, you're not really a superhero. It's in the name, a Super Mario. And he's like, no. You're not a superhero. I get big, I shoot fire. And he's like, no, it's temporary or whatever. And he's like, well, I'm like him. And talking about Batman. He's like, he doesn't have powers either. He's like, real funny, I'm Batman. And he's like, I'm a Mario. I'm Batman. I'm a Mario. And they just go back and forth. My daughter thinks that is hilarious. She's just like, Daddy, can we watch the Mario Superman or Batman thing? I was like, oh my God, I'm Batman. I'm a Mario. I don't know.
So are you Batman or are you Mario and she's Mario?
Oh, neither one of us are Mario. You don't want to be Mario.
No one
Yeah.
wants to be Mario?
He's not a superhero.
He's a plumber.
He's a plumber, right? He's a very helpful plumber
Yeah.
that eats mushrooms. So he's a drug addict.
Yeah. I didn't think about that.
That's right. All of that is fake after he ate the mushroom, right? Mm-hmm. That's hilarious. All right, so I want to read something for you, all right? This is something, I read this the other day, and actually I've read it several times, but I put this on a post I did because this is like the way this is worded. It's all about being disciplined. It's like a disciplined lifestyle is like the title of it, right? So, isn't it obvious that all runners on the racetrack keep on running to win, but only one receives the victor's prize? Yet each one of you must run the race to be victorious. A true athlete will be disciplined in every aspect, practicing constant self-control in order to win a wreath that quickly withers. But we run our race to win a victor's crown that will last forever. For that reason, I don't run just for exercise or box like throwing aimless punches, but I train like a champion athlete. I subdue my body and I get it under my control so that after preaching the good news to others, I myself won't be disqualified. Now, this is a scripture from the book of 1 Corinthians, but it's talking about a very physical thing, like why I train myself and how there's a spiritual and emotional response to that. So I train my body, I discipline my body as a way to like learn that there are things in my life that I have to keep myself from, right? There are things in my life that I have to like run toward and focus toward. And so for me, for whatever reason, physical fitness is one of those things that helps me stay on track, right? It helps me stay consistent. For somebody else, it may be something different. But for me, there's so many parallels, I feel like, between like your physical body and how you take care of this thing, right? This like
vessel,
corporal vessel that we have, right? That's very finite, and how the rest of your life is lived. And when you understand that, when you can realize that, it changes like so many things in your life, like seriously, right? And so, I think that's why, honestly, like I think some people I know sometimes I get frustrated. Like it's very obvious when I get frustrated.
Not sometimes.
There is no like.
Glad you said it.
It's not like I don't hide like my feelings. Like I'm not that kind of guy.
You wear it on your sleeve.
Yeah, I wear it on my sleeve. I wear it on my face.
Oh, you wear it on your medium face.
On my medium face, right? But I get frustrated oftentimes because I'm like, oftentimes we make it way more complicated than it ever has to be, right? And sometimes we get so comfortable in this stuff over here that we won't let it go so that we can get something better, right? And there is better if we choose to let go of some of this other stuff, right? And, like there's one particular person I'm thinking like that, I mean, like seriously, like someone I'm very close to, it's a relative of mine, and like there are so many things in their life that could be so much different and so much better if they would just let go, right? If they would let go, like submit to that stuff, let go of the hate, let go of the anger, let go of the sadness, let go of the guilt for something that wasn't even their fault. And they would move forward in life. But they're holding on to something that was 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And that one thing in their life has dictated every failure in their life up to this moment. And one failure upon another failure, another mistake, another bad choice, another whatever. And it's ballooned until now they're at the point where things seem out of control. And they think like there's no way back. There's no hope at all. But there's always hope. If you are breathing, if you are alive, if the sun is coming up, there is hope. There is a new opportunity. There is a new day. And here's how it starts. You do something different. If you need help, you get help. If you can't do it by yourself, you get somebody to do it with you. But you have to make the choice to do something different, right? You hear it all the time. The definition of insanity is trying to do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yep.
Right? I argue with people all the time that pay me to coach them, and they want to do it the way they did it before, and they think the way I want them to do it is dumb, okay? And then we go through a few months, and they don't talk to me, and then they go do a race, and they fail, and they look at me like it was my fault. You didn't listen to me. And I know they feel guilty about it because every time they're around me, they don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Right? So it's either they're mad at me because they think I did them wrong, or they're upset because they feel guilty and they feel ashamed because they know they should have probably listened to me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hold a grudge. I'm like, let's do it right this time. We messed it up last time. Let's keep moving forward, right? I'm all about moving forward. I think there's always hope. I think there's always a new day, but let it go. Move forward. Move forward. I'm done talking. I'm not saying nothing else. You guys, I will talk all day.
You did good. This was a good one.
You
I
did.
like this, Rocky.
I'll let the people say that for me.
Everyone out in their car is saying it in your name, Rocky.
Yeah, thank you guys.
We'll just give you a slow clap.
So stupid.
So James stepped off the soapbox. I think it's time for a ramble to close this bad boy out.
I'm excited.
I got nothing.
Really?
What?
I didn't prepare. I was too busy with my
You
notes.
you talking about this whole time about how you were prepared.
I was prepared with
Has
my
he
notes.
not mentioned about how prepared he
Yeah,
was?
he wasn't prepared for that though. He's
No,
like,
I mean, I got something, but it ain't gonna be long. It's
I mean,
not
that's
gonna
okay.
be like motivational.
We've
That's
run
fine.
a long
We've got more
episode.
than long enough.
We've
Yeah,
done a
yeah.
long episode.
Because I can't shut up.
I don't want to say be a dog, but be a monster, people. Be a controllable monster, though. Be an actual like. So, I'm not a monster, and I get taken advantage of a lot because I'm not one. But I gotta be a controlled one. I gotta be more of a controlled monster. Like so, I think everyone should be more of a controlled monster. Don't get stepped on. Stern. Speak your mind. I mean, don't be afraid to offend, right? Because if it's the truth, if it's
Word.
not the truth, don't just attack somebody.
Yeah.
That's just rude. But like, have a backbone. Be that strong person you need to be, and go attack these goals.
Yep.
Go attack these runs and destroy them.
Destroy. Seek and destroy.
Yeah, the runs.
It's like a Scud missile.
Yeah.
So you're a dog, you're a Scud missile, you're a tiger,
I don't know
you're
what
a
a Scud
beast.
missile
No, I thought
is.
you were a tiger. He's the dog.
Yeah.
Oh,
What am I?
And also,
I don't know. That's a good question. We
What am I?
got to figure that out.
I guess one
I'm like
little
an otter.
piece of advice is be I'm not
Be an otter.
don't be an otter, but be during the run, not in actual life. Don't get delusional, but be the hero of your own movie. In the run, like you know how in every single movie, the hero gets to a point where they're not gonna overcome it. A
Yep.
point where they're just not gonna win.
They're met with the strife. They're met
And
with
then
the
they're
challenge.
yeah, exactly. It gets,
They call that the Deus Machina.
oh yeah,
So it's that moment when all hope seems lost.
exactly.
When nothing can, and then all of a sudden,
And all of a sudden, you take one more step, and
There
then
it is.
another step, and then
Dang.
another step.
and you rise to the
Overcome.
occasion. Avengers assemble.
Yeah, exactly. Be the hero of your race, of your story and your race.
Amen. Amen.
Very nice. Very
Lauren,
nice, Rocky. What?
do you have anything else you'd like to add?
She was on time today.
She was early.
Early.
Because I went
yeah.
to lunch with the girls, and so I just dropped off. I dropped off one of the girls and just came straight here. I saw Rocky. I saw him coming out of his house.
Look at that.
I know.
Rock dog.
Do I
had to
have
check it real
anything
quick.
this week?
You PR'd on Sunday.
I PR'd on Sunday.
I just meant like, did you have anything to add?
No, I don't think so. I think again, going back to what you said, just do you want it to be handed to you, or do you want to earn it? And I think, in the end, yeah, like it sounds nice to have things just handed to us because work is hard. But do you really like want to just get things the easy way, or do you want to say you overcame the challenges and you climbed the mountain and did the hard thing and you got to stand on top and claim your spot? So yeah, put in the work.
I got all my medals hanging on a thing, like kind of what
Mine
you
are
have.
kind
And
of
it
in a box.
says, always earned, never given.
There you go.
I like that.
Yep. Well,
Right.
there's nothing sweeter than like putting in effort and getting something out. Like working. Like there's nothing better than things you built yourself through your own hands. There's nothing better than, something you've worked hard for, seeing it come to fruition. I've had things given to me, and that was pretty awesome. Honestly, I really like
not
having
gonna lie.
things given to me. But there's something different about having to earn something and work for it, and about the joy you get out of it. Right? No meal tastes better than after a hard effort
But
when you've given your best.
if we all come together and give James a pair of $500 Adidas, it'll be pretty nice for him.
Yeah,
So
I'll be very happy.
everyone, chip in.
I'll be very happy because, yeah, there's no way. I mean, even if no matter what, it's just crazy. It's crazy, people. $500 for some shoes. $500. I mean, I paid $500 or more for a shoe before.
But not a
But it
running
was like
shoe.
dress shoes or something like that, right?
That you can wear all the time.
Yeah,
So-
and then I could like resell them
Yeah.
for just as much or more.
You can't resell these.
But I mean, you probably could, like in a few years, if they're in decent shape. These are probably gonna be like a collector's thing, I think. Right? I really, because they're numbered and everything else. Like you hold these for 50 years, and people are gonna be like, because eventually these are probably gonna be like regular production. It's like if you had the original Nike running shoe, right, from like the 60s or whatever.
We should
from
put
Portland.
your Venmo like at the bottom of the screen, and people can just like Venmo you money for your shoes.
Yeah, that's it.
So if you want to support James on his journey to getting these $500
Yeah, you
Adios
just do it to PayPal's fine. Just
or PayPal, just PayPal
James
James
at mybcfit.com.
Yeah, just send him
PayPal.
some money
Yeah.
so he can get the shoes, so he can tell you, are they worth $500?
Yes, every little bit counts. So if you want to send $1, that's fine. If you want to send $500, that's fine. If you want to send maybe $3,000,
So we can all
and then
three
we can
get a
all
pair
get a
of.
pair.
We can all
and
get
then
them.
Maybe we'll buy a couple extra pairs
And give 'em away.
and sell those
Or that. I'm saying
give
give
you
them
your money
away.
back.
and get your money back. back, right? So, but anyway, thanks for coming in, guys.
Yeah.
Follow us.
Follow us, like
Subscribe.
us, subscribe
Stars.
us.
All the stars.
And if you haven't known already, if you can change your mind,
You
You can change your life. It's
You
my
can.
turn.
I didn't say anything. I just said you can. Why did you jump on me?
Because the last 2 or 3 times you've taken it from me.
I didn't know it was yours.
It is mine.
I'm pretty sure it's mine.
Nope.
I'm pretty sure the whole thing is mine.
It's mine.
Like, literally, it's mine. Like,
I made it up.
Copyright. What? You better. Oh,
Made it
You
up.
change your
Black Dog
life.
Geek,
Yeah. Make
trademark.
sure you subscribe to change your line, change your mind. I didn't even say it. I said it wrong. What the heck?
Yeah, so
Told
you
you.
don't deserve it now.
Oh, God.
Bye.